Ramadan.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, the show just kicked off, and we're starting off with Ramadan in the world's largest refugee camps at Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh. And joining me on this discussion is the Rohingya Refugee photographer, founder and editor of Rohingyatographer Magazine, Zia Hero. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brother Zia. How are you? Right. I think we're just having some technical issues there. Let's see if we can try and get brothers here, inshallah ta'ala. And while we do that, let's go through, inshallah, one more time our lineup for today, inshallah ta'ala. It looks like a very interesting lineup as we discover and go through different aspects of life, specifically in the celebration of Ramadan in different communities, starting off with the Rohingya refugee camp, which is in Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh. And we are going to be looking at what it is like to go through Ramadan as a revert to Islam. Sharing his experience with us in here will be Brother Fahim Msiza, inshallah ta'ala, who's an engineering student at the University of Witwatersrand and also works with the African Youth Association, also known as AGD, inshallah ta'ala. Thereafter, we are going to be looking at the South Africa's Ramadan mosaic as we look into the Malawian community and how Islam came into that community and how it has pushed them to spread into different parts of the world, specifically also now looking at more specifically South Africa, inshallah. And on there we have Sheikh Zubair Chindungwa, inshallah, who will be joining us. And we'll be also going into the Nasiha part, which is our spiritual hour, discussing Ramadan with Maulana Sifiso Jamini, Ismail Jamini, all the way from Inanda, inshallah ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Zia. How are you doing?
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brother Yunus. I'm doing good, and you?
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair for joining us, and specifically in this beautiful month of Ramadan. We say Ramadan Mubarak to yourself and the family and everyone else, inshallah ta'ala. Brothers here, if we go to the top of the aspect of you being a photographer and specifically an editor also and a refugee, when people outside the camps think of Cox's Bazar, they often see images of suffering. How does the Rohingyatographer that you have, magazine that you edit, change that perspective for the people outside?
Assalamu alaikum, brother. First of all, we say Ramadan Mubarak from the world largest refugee camp in Bangladesh, which is a home to over 1 million Rohingya refugees who fled genocide in 2017 in Myanmar. And right now we are observing Ramadan. It is we have already finished the 5th day of Ramadan, and so Ramadan here in the refugee camp is very different to other part of the world. The Ramadan here is like the Ramadan in Palestine, in Gaza, the Ramadan in destruction. But here the Ramadan is like Ramadan in the hardship, Ramadan in the challenges, in the crisis. The situation, the life in the refugee camp is totally uncertain, where people don't have enough food to eat and people don't have access to formal education, formal in resilience. Here we have a lot of humanitarian organizations, but they are now facing challenges with the funding after the funding cut, the US major funding cuts. So it's really making our lives harder. So people don't have, people can't afford to buy good food for Ramadan. People can't observe Ramadan culturally. There are a lot of challenges. during this Ramadan, during this
Looks like we lost Brother Zia one more time. I think there's some network situation or some network interferences there. So just going through what Brother Zia was telling us there is that in the refugee camp, as where they are at the moment at Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh, it is not really an ideal place that you could imagine someone celebrating the month of Ramadan, which is devoid of the homely sense and the sense of being with your family and being in peace and tranquility. And it is as how we would see the Palestinians experiencing their Ramadan as well. As yesterday when we were speaking to our brother from Palestine, where he pointed out that the people are living under rubble and have to now celebrate Ramadan in those tough conditions where most of the cultural traditions of the month of Ramadan are now being impeded on. And same situation with what Brother Zia is explaining to us also. And that now it makes them also not have that sense of freedom and being able to perform the other rituals, which would be the Tarawih Salah, etc. And we're just trying to get a hold of him one more time, as we see that the network is really not working well with us today, unfortunately. But these are some of the issues that we face, some of the perks. All right, not really the perks, the cons of having to work with people overseas, etc. As a network interference. Let's say one more time, inshallah, brothers here. Assalamu alaikum. Are you back with us? Assalamu alaikum, brothers here.
yes, the network here is unstable, like our life.
No,
Everything here
I
is
understand.
unstable.
No problem. Now, the next point I wanted to also look at was the human element of staying in a refugee camp. You've said before that you want people to see the Rohingya people as human beings, just like everyone else. Now, as we enter, or as we are rather, in the month of Ramadan, what is one human moment that you've captured recently that the world wouldn't see in the news?
Um, as we have been living here for the last 8 years, and the world is really forgetting the Rohingya crisis, the Rohingya people. So we always want to draw attention of the international community. We always want to remind the world that we are human beings, like many other people in the world,
Mm,
and we dream of a normal life, like many other people in the world, like other
mm,
people, like everyone else. So during the Ramadan, uh, we have a Muslim in other countries who are observing Ramadan peacefully, happily, and in a beautiful scenario, having good food, having healthy food, and enjoying celebrating Ramadan with their families, friends. But in the camp, if you come here, you can see the struggles of the people, the challenges of the people. People just busy for their daily normal food, regular food.
mm,
For their people are busy for their daily water. People don't think about so much. People don't think about tomorrow. People don't dream for tomorrow because uh, no one know what will happen tomorrow. No one can plan for tomorrow. And uh, if you come here, you can see the crowd of people, the crowded shelters, uh, the the noise of the people. It's so really crowded. A lot of people living in a very small area where you can't see anyone living in good health, where you can't see anyone living uh, happily. Uh, so the situation here in the Philippines is very, really different to any other part of the world. So
mm.
I always raise awareness from the refugee camp uh, to the global audience, just to draw their attention and to seek their support and solidarity
Mm.
uh, towards my community, towards uh, my community, towards
Subhanallah. So, like you said before, that the network is very unstable, and trying to go back into what Brother Zia is expressing again. In terms of the living conditions in the camps are not favorable, and it makes it difficult for them to actually practice Ramadan, and also makes it difficult for them to live their day-to-day life. And these are some of the challenges that most of us do not understand, as we look from afar, as we see things happening on social media. We might not really understand what is the reality of what the people are going through. And the Rohingya community, like he said himself, has been in the refugee camp for the past 8 years. So that's 8 years of his life, which has been constricted into such a small area, and with places with no proper sanitation and no proper resources, which we on a day-to-day basis we take for granted. And just the other point was to look into the food with him in his magazine, the Rohingyatographer Magazine. He also mentioned in the food for thought issue, he highlighted the traditional dishes like sona boot, which is a black chickpeas, and luri ficha. Then he expressed how those are their staple diets, and we just wanted also to understand more into how that has changed specifically now in this harsh conditions that they are facing, especially when it comes to Ramadan. These are like their normal Ramadan cuisines. But however, the network chose not to let us get info on that, inshallah ta'ala. Let's see if we can still try and get him back online, or our network is still, his network rather, is still curbing us from finding that, inshallah ta'ala. But we applaud his work and what he's doing with his magazine, sending out proper images of what's happening in the refugee camp, and so that we can see what's happening out there and really understand the difficulty that they are going through. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for the Rohingya people and all the people who are going into difficulties or facing difficulties, brothers in Palestine, in brothers in Syria, in Sudan, and Congo as well, inshallah ta'ala. So we'll be cutting this program short because of the interference from inside. However, we'll be moving on to the next guest after the break, inshallah ta'ala.